Is it safe to say that based off of your comments, you're suggesting that these women at these abortion rallies are ugly and overweight?
Yes.
What do you say to people who think that those comments are offensive?
Be offended.
Based Matt Gaetz, ladies and gentlemen. Now you can understand why liberals and some conservatives hate him. Welcome back to the JP Reacts channel, my beautiful freedom-loving friend. This is where we like to call out lies, hypocrisy, and corruption, as well as highlight other freedom fighters because truth conquers. But you can't conquer anything unless you're strong. And here to help us get stronger is Ancestral Supplements grass-fed beef liver. Beef liver is nature's multivitamin. It makes your metabolism fast, energy high, and cravings low. It is time to get healthy and strong with grass-fed beef liver. Get it at ancestralsupplements.com/JPReacts, and for 15% off, use code JPReacts. Let's get into it. As you know by now, President Trump has nominated former Congressman Matt Gaetz to be his attorney general. I'll be honest with you, that got me excited right away, and it really sent shockwaves. This has been the most controversial pick in Trump's administration so far. And I look deeper into the controversy. I mean, yes, there's going to be leftist media against everything Trump does. That's a given. I don't put any weight into it. But what I wasn't aware of is all the allegations that were surrounding Matt Gaetz. And of course, we'll get into the allegations, but if things like that are true, then of course there's controversy around him for legitimate reasons as well as the illegitimate reasons. All that and more in this video. But first, we understand Matt Gaetz, he has been based from the get-go. I mean, back in 2021, Biden stumbles into office when Trump was too hot to touch. So many Republicans were distancing themselves from him. Matt Gaetz was one of the few who was just the Trump loyalist. He wasn't doing no, he was just getting closer to Trump, which I appreciated. That's basically Matt Gaetz putting his butt on the line. And then early 2022, Matt Gaetz basically single-handedly gets Kevin McCarthy ousted as Speaker of the House. So what we do know when we're looking at controversy surrounding Matt Gaetz, will he actually get sworn in as Trump's pick, or will they deny it in the Senate kind of thing? We understand Matt Gaetz certainly has made political enemies, not just with the left, but even within the Republican Party. Rhinos don't really like Matt Gaetz too much. In a second, we'll see an example of just how damn based Matt Gaetz is before we look at the controversy surrounding him, so you can make up your own mind. But here's Senator Ron Johnson is a total gangster, writes George on Twitter. Reporters asked him his opinion on Matt Gaetz, and he unfolded a printout of the picture, this picture of Rachel Levine and Sam Brinton, and asked reporters whether they harassed Democrats over those nominations. Answer: reporters did not, but they're certainly harassing people over the Matt Gaetz nomination. And here's Republican senators pushing back, saying they're not going to vote to nominate Matt Gaetz. Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski voted to confirm Rachel Levine to be Assistant Secretary of Health and Human Services, but say they cannot vote to confirm Matt Gaetz as Attorney General because he's not a serious pick, as they voted to confirm the least serious pick in U.S. history, Rachel Levine, who is of unspecified gender. Now, just so you know who we're dealing with here, here's a compilation of Matt Gaetz during congressional testimony, and I have loved watching him absolutely hold people's feet to the fire of accountability. This clip, it's about the Biden crime family, but it's been with Fauci and just all the people, Merrick Garland, all the people. So as we watch this, we understand, of course, there will be political enemies just from the other side, because this guy he doesn't seem to toe the narrative line. He just seems to be oriented around truth and the American way. And he's a badass while he does it. Let's take a look.
I have other questions. I'm sitting here with my father. I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me and every person he knows and my ability to forever hold a grudge, that you will regret not following my direction. I am sitting here waiting for the call with my father.
Words of Hunter Biden.
Sounds like a shakedown, doesn't it, Director?
I'm not going to get into commenting.
You seem deeply uncurious about it, don't you? Almost suspiciously uncurious. Are you protecting the Bidens?
Absolutely not. The FBI
Well,
does not has no interest in
you won't answer the
protecting
question
anyone.
about whether or not that's a shakedown, and everybody knows why you won't answer it. Because to the millions of people who will see this, they know it is. And your inability to acknowledge that is deeply revealing about you. You preside over the FBI that has the lowest level of trust in the FBI's history. People trusted the FBI more when J. Edgar Hoover was running the place than when you are. And the reason is because you don't give straight answers. You give answers that later a court deems aren't true. And then at the end of the day, you won't criticize an obvious shakedown when it's directly in front of us. And it appears as though you're whitewashing the conduct of corrupt people.
Respectfully, Congressman, in your home state of Florida, the number of people applying to come work for us and devote their life working for us is over 100%.
We're deeply proud of them, and they deserve better than you.
We're deeply proud of them, and they deserve better than you. I love it. And by the way, shout out to Ultra Mega Party on Twitter for putting together compilations like this. They do a great job. We'll get back to the video in just a second, but first, my friends, as you know, you spend about a third of your life asleep, and how you sleep affects the quality of your life. Admittedly, I've always been a longtime skeptic of high-quality mattresses. I've typically just slept on the cheapest mattress I could find. But once I tried Mattress Lux, I realized I was wrong. The high-quality, organic avocado brand mattress I got from Mattress Lux has been a complete game changer for my sleep. Mattress Lux is a family-owned mattress store specializing in sleep solutions that want to serve their community. Mattress Lux believes that sleep wellness begins with education. That's why they developed the Lux Fit process, which guides you through the steps of choosing the right mattress for your unique needs. They proudly carry premium organic options like Naturepedic and avocado, which by the way, I love my avocado mattress. They also carry other popular premium brands like Tempur-Pedic, Helix, Puffy, and Casper. Mattress Lux is here to help you find the best fit for your specific sleep needs. And Mattress Lux currently has a massive Black Friday deal, so the time to upgrade your sleep has never been better. You get 20% off plus free shipping. Just go to mattresslux.com and use discount code JPBF20 for 20% off your mattress. And if you're in person at their store, they'll give you 30% off with that same discount code. To find a location or order online, go to mattresslux.com, and for 20% off, use discount code JPBF20. Enjoy. Now back to the video. Now, for a little bit of the controversy with really serious allegations. I don't know that they're seriously true. I have my doubts. We'll get to some commentary by Candace Owens and some others in a second with their perspective on the allegations that have been thrown against Matt Gaetz, but they are serious allegations. So for more on that, let's throw it over to the most trusted place on the internet, Wikipedia. Always accurate, aren't they? But nonetheless, it's good for the mainstream, like what's being said against Matt Gaetz. So the highlight, Gaetz's tenure as congressman has been described as controversial by several media outlets. In 2020, he was accused of sexual misconduct, and after a multi-year investigation, the U.S. Department of Justice decided not to pursue charges against him. Prior to his resignation as representative, which happened just days ago, more on that in a second, Gaetz was also under ethics investigation by the House Ethics Committee, having had multiple complaints filed against him. Gaetz has denied all of the allegations. In October 2023, Gaetz filed a motion to vacate position Speaker of the House Representatives in the removal of Kevin McCarthy from his role as Speaker. There we have it. And then you can go deeper into the Wikipedia dungeon, federal investigations into child. Well, you can just read that on your screen for YouTube purposes. I'm not going to say it. Trump's America, but YouTube is still YouTube as of now. With this, essentially the gist of this is he's accused of having inappropriate Bill Clinton-style relations with a 17-year-old girl and doing drugs. And you can read deeper, more detail, but that's the ultra high-level view of it. Now, something that does look suspicious for Matt Gaetz. Think about this. Trump just nominated him to be the Attorney General. And right away, Matt Gaetz resigns as congressman. Gaetz says, my reason for resigning as congressman is so that my seat will have time to do an election so the right person can fill that seat. But remember, a minute ago, we mentioned Gaetz's under investigation in the House Ethics Committee, for these kind of allegations. But here's the thing, because he just resigned as congressman, that investigation no longer happens. It's done because he's not in the House of Representatives anymore because he just resigned. Of course, he resigned under the pretense of, hey, President Trump just nominated me to be the Attorney General. So there are some people that would speculate Gaetz resigned to shut down that investigation because, maybe he's guilty and maybe he won't. Maybe he knows he won't get sworn in as Attorney General. He won't pass the approval process, but this is just a ploy for him to essentially get out of trouble. And some would say maybe Trump knows that. And others would say, no, he resigned because of why he said. So there can be a re-election for his congressional seat. And thus he did that, kind of altruistic. And maybe he does go ahead and gets approved, sworn in, becomes the next Attorney General of the U.S. So I'm not here to say I know what's true, but that's two sides of the speculation. Are these allegations against Matt Gaetz true? Here's a few things to think about. First, just for an appetizer, DC Drano. Remember, there is a formal federal agent in federal prison right now for trying to lie about Matt Gaetz's personal life and extort his family for $25 million. Gaetz is a victim of a deep state attack. This is why they're going all out to stop him. More on that person who is in federal prison right now because they did try to extort Matt Gaetz and his family out of $25 million. So DC Drano was saying, yeah, these allegations are part of that weaponized attack against Matt Gaetz. Before we hear from Candace Owens with her perspective, here's a quick summary of the We're Here Supporting Matt Gaetz perspective from Insurrection Barbie on Twitter. She's a great follow. If you don't know about the Matt Gaetz story, it's fascinating. There was an FBI investigation into somebody who Matt Gaetz knows. That person ended up pleading guilty. That's all true. But the Department of Justice and the FBI really wanted to get Matt Gaetz, not the other guy. Now, what the other guy did was not good stuff, and it's a bad look. Matt Gaetz was close to him. That's a bad look for Matt Gaetz, but it doesn't necessarily at all mean Matt Gaetz is guilty as well. But nonetheless, former Department of Justice official met with the father of Matt Gaetz and tried to extort him for $25 million. That's a former Department of Justice official. Whoa. The local FBI told his father to wear a wire, which he did. This resulted in the arrest and conviction of Stephen Elford for the extortion. The former Department of Justice official who met with his father on behalf of Elford was never mentioned. Elford, in conjunction with his former DOJ official, wanted Gaetz to plead guilty, and if he did, they promised him a pardon. This is all happening while the FBI was probing Matt Gaetz for inappropriate relations with a minor, a 17-year-old. Of course, charges were never filed, and he was cleared of all wrongdoing. But you know what's really ironic? The subject of the ethics complaint is a 17-year-old girl that Matt Gaetz supposedly slept with. It's so strange because that's exactly the charge the FBI cleared him of. Does the plot thicken or does the plot thin out? Do you know who has extensive ties to the Ethics Committee in the House of Representatives? I'm sure it's just a coincidence that it's Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy has spent his entire time since getting ousted by Matt Gaetz for being a horrible speaker, trying to take him down. Again, total coincidence, not a plot to destroy one of the biggest fighters in Congress. Now, before we hear Candace Owens' perspective on Matt Gaetz, let's throw it over to Polymarket because they have odds going. Matt Gaetz confirmed as Attorney General. Right now, Polymarket has it 30% chance of it happening. Yes is a 30% chance. That's interesting. I think this is interesting intel because Polymarket seemed like they had the best odds prediction of how Trump won the election. So there is something to be said about, like, if you're just after a crystal ball reality, will Matt Gaetz be confirmed as Attorney General? Right now, Polymarket says 30% chance yes, 70% chance no. Let's throw it over to Candace Owens to hear from her.
Tried to paint Matt Gaetz like a complete crazy person. And you can imagine, remember, the adults are back in charge, right? That this was getting all of the coverage. This Trump ally, he's out here, he's doing this with a 17-year-old girl. And he fought through this. And it sounded like a conspiracy, right? To say that the Department of Justice is using former employees and liaising to try to siphon $25 million from your dad.
An interesting just reminder, the Department of Justice, FBI, they did some rather conspiratorial things against the current president-elect.
But Matt Gaetz alleged that the local FBI instructed his dad to wear a wire to record the conversation with the person that was trying to extort them. And guess what? It turned out that Matt Gaetz was telling the truth. In August of 2022, so a little over a year and a half later, Stephen Alford was sentenced to 5 years in prison for a scheme to extort $25 million from the Gaetz family. So you can just imagine the Department of Justice's surprise. Oh my gosh, you're going to nominate now? He's in charge of the Department of Justice? You're going to make him the U.S. Attorney General? I love it. I love it. Okay. He absolutely must be confirmed.
That's an interesting point that Candace raises. If Matt Gaetz is confirmed, and let's just say it's true that the DOJ was weaponized against Matt Gaetz, once Matt Gaetz is confirmed, he's now in charge of the DOJ. Like, he's presiding over it, the very agency that was used to be weaponized against him. Could be karma. We'll see.
Freaking out, and they're being honest about why they're freaking out. They're like, well, then he's going to have access to the files of when we were investigating him. And like, by the way, we didn't find anything, so it's not a big deal, but we don't want to, this is an insane pick. Why on earth would they allow him in? Because you realize that he is someone who you are not going to be able to flip into one of your allies because you attempted to ruin his life and to ruin his reputation. And these are exactly the kinds of picks that we need. I need someone who has a chip on their shoulder.
I kind of like that. We need someone who has a chip on their shoulder because agencies that they preside over were once weaponized against them. Therefore, them, Matt Gaetz in this place, them as his pronoun right now, according to me, he knows the faults. He knows the problems that need to be fixed because they were inflicted on him. I like that. And I wish we didn't have that problem in the US. So that is a little bit of a quick deep dive into the controversy around Matt Gaetz. I think there's no question where I stand. I love the guy's politics. I love how based he is. I love what he says. I love what he stands for. I put no weight into the leftist propaganda against him. And then when it comes to his moral character, like, these allegations, is he just cleared of them because he beat them legally? Or was there any truth to them? Well, if he's cleared of them, I have to put my benefit of the doubt in that. But what I can't say is I can't speak to his moral character. I don't know the guy. He's in Washington doing his thing. He might stand for amazing things in front of the camera, and he might be a degenerate behind it. I don't have evidence that's true. I just know it's a possibility. But I'd love to hear what you think. Let me know in the comments below what you think of Matt Gaetz as the Attorney General, his moral character. I will just conclude with this. With his politics, what he stood for, I would love to see the guy be confirmed as Attorney General. Let me know what you think, and I'll look forward to seeing you on our next video, my beautiful freedom-loving friend. But until then, behave yourself.